may have seen some of these photo locations before, so I went back because I got such great feedback from the team.
It's cool. I like it.
So
the color, the coordination here is great though. The backdrop and the color of the car.
Well, I learned, you see, Tara, last week, because I didn't have a car review, I spent a lot of time analyzing the photographic work of San Mitani on his Lexus NX review.
Looks like you did some learning.
The one photo
of his review, you know, I thought, look, you've got to get different angles here. You've got to see where it's at. So I took a trip down to downtown LA.
Artistic. I like it.
So this is the Volkswagen Atlas Cross Sport. So it's the difference between the Atlas and the Atlas Cross Sport is the Atlas Cross Sport gets rid of the third row of seating. It's a little bit shorter and a little bit lower, I will say, in regard to that. About 5 inches, I think, shorter and 2 inches lower. One thing it's got, this one is where it starts to get a little bit difficult for me, and the review of it. I mean, it starts around 32,000, but this vehicle version I've tested, the SEL V6 with full motion, comes in just a hair above $50,000.
Ooh, man, that's
really.
big
But
price range.
Having said that, though, it's a very big car. I mean, it's a big car. It's very, very comfortable. I don't know where they get the sport from, to be fair. It's more, I'd say, soft because it's quite squishy on the suspension. But I think if you're driving, I mean, Taro, I think
these photos. I love these photos.
Taro, for you, with the family, with the 2 kids and the 2 dogs, I think it'd be a great fit.
Look at this, James.
James, I mean, wait, go back to the last 2 shots.
Look at this.
Was it on purpose that you actually had the reflection that looks like graffiti on the reflecting on the side of the car? I mean, that is just art, man.
Sam, I learned this all from you.
Even the next one. Look at that. That is art, man.
Yeah, this is great.
I mean, it looks like the side of the car is a screen.
Well, I will say,
I like this too. Well, this is not bad too,
I mean, the photo's fine. I'm just saying it doesn't have the side, stuff on it. But yeah, I mean, wow.
I will say I do really like
surpassed yourself there.
Thank you, Sam. I do really like the color of the car. I think it comes in like very nicely appointed.
Okay, yeah, this is not one of your best. Tires all bent. I mean, that was. I mean, I'm sure that was not supposed to be in the collection.
Sam, I've got to say.
Move on.
No, I'll just we point this one. Larry Chen said that you always need to point the tires in the car. So
not if it's a profile shot.
Look, just saying.
I'm just saying. Is this you too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, not bad. It's kind of weird that you have the word "dead" on the license plate.
Well, these things happen. But this is, I guess, why
Let's stick to the car. Let's stick to the car, Sam.
So this is the sports version of it. So it's a sports utility vehicle for you to go and take your various things around town.
Yeah. I've actually been in the Atlas. So when we go, down south to Orange County, San Diego County, North San Diego County for our surf trips, some of my buddies have brought this car down, and I've been in it. It's pretty comfortable. But you're saying that this car, the crossover. What's the name of this?
This is the Atlas Cross Sport.
Cross Sport. So this is a little bit smaller than the Atlas.
Yeah, but that's the way. So you go from the Atlas, which is 3 rows. This is just going to 2 rows. So it really makes a difference. So these are obviously the press picks in regards to how much room you have in the back there.
Right.
Remember when I really talked about the Ram truck where it had more room than a Bentley? While it doesn't have more room than a Bentley, it's certainly got enough room in the back there for adults. So while you couldn't fit as many people on your surf trip, Taro, you'd be a lot more comfortable driving down to the OC for your surf trip in this. And it is really, I mean, while it is $50,000, it is really nice inside. I mean, I've got this really lovely interior that they've got here, which is like the burgundy black offset between the 2. It's got all you can imagine is everything, every modern con in regard to safety and security features that you need there to keep you with the digital instruments, the cluster. One thing I do really like is this on the dash gauge here, which comes specifically with the SEL. It sort of lets you customize how you want to look at it. It gives you your map in the center there, and then you can play around with the dials. The V6 that I've got, so I think 3.6 liter, running at about 276 horsepower. It can tow around 5,000 pounds. I think 5,000 pounds is the limit. I'm not sure who is really going to be towing things with the Atlas Cross Sport, but if you need it, it's there and it has the ability to.
I have a question. Maybe Sam would know the answer to this. So you know how, can you go back to the picture where, before this one? No, where the seats are down? Yeah. So why do they have 2 and 1 always? Why do they never have, all 3 individual seats go down?
It'd be really hard to put down the middle seat from where you are, and it's just a convenience thing, if you want all the room, you could put them all down. If you only have like a pole or something like that, you could just put the one down.
Yeah,
it gives you three options. But if you put another one, that's another seat, another stuff. That's cost, number one.
I see.
Right? Yeah, and number two, it'd be hard to just put down the middle. I mean, how many people are going to just put down the middle seat? Probably not.
Well, if you have a ski pole or like you're
then why
saying,
don't you just put it on the very side then?
a surfboard or something, you need it to go
all the way to the front of the.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
And then you can fit 4 people.
Oh no, then you would just put the 2 down. Oh yeah, then you can't fit 4 people. But yeah,
that's why you've got all the accoutrements like the roof rack, so you can do.
You could put it on top. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a point. That's a good point.
So that's what I did like about it though, is this feature here, where they'd instead of having the fake exhaust where they poke through, which really destroys my life, they'd cap that off and the exhaust just dump out behind it, which I think is much better.
No, it does have a little tow hitch there, so you're.
No, like I said, 5,000 pounds, Sam.
Yeah. That's a lot.
So for me, I do think it is a little bit soft in the suspension, and so it feels like when you're driving it, because it's such a big car, that there's a lot of body roll and movement. But that's just me driving it. Honestly, it's got a very comfortable ride. Like I said, there's so much room. I think it looks attractive. The engine seems to be well suited at 276 horsepower. That goes smoothly through the gears, unlike the Passat that I complained about before, where it seemed to be searching for a gear. This one has no trouble going through. I mean, it's definitely not the fastest thing out of the blocks, but it keeps up with traffic, gets you moving. You do have a sport mode, even though I don't think it's really that sporty. But it looks good.
What kind of mileage does it get, James?
It says that you're going to be getting around an average of 19 miles per gallon, 16 in the city and 22 in the highway. I have not yet found that I've been hitting those numbers, but obviously I've been driving it in purely sport mode around town, so I'm getting around 14.5 to 15 miles per gallon, I think, at this point in time.
That's pretty bad.
We know how you drive too.
But Sam, exactly. I've only got 2 speeds. I've got speed limit and stopped. That's the one between the 2. There's nothing in between. That's all there is. So
idle and flat out. That's our James.
Exactly. There's only 2 options. So with that being the case, I mean, it is a really, really big car, though. I can't fathom enough how wide this feels when you're driving it. It feels like you're in a tank.
Okay, so here we go. Is this a car you would recommend?
Look, if Tara was saying, James, I'm looking for, I want to get an SUV. I want something I can put the surfboards in. I mean, it's going up against the Honda Passport, the Ford Edge, Jeep Grand Cherokee, Nissan Murano, Chevy Blazer, and from our friends over at Toyota, the Venza, which is going to be coming out later this year. I think from memory, the one that's is the preferred one at this point is the Honda Passport, is the one to be going after in this segment. But I mean, I think it really warrants a look, but I probably wouldn't go for the higher range of the 3.6 liter. I might honestly go for the smaller range, which is the 2 liter.
You don't need to tow anything 5,000 pounds, right?
I don't need to tow anything 5,000 pounds. That's why I'd go with the smaller engine and probably just spec up a smaller engine vehicle and come in under the 40,000 as opposed to with the 50,000 mark, if that makes sense.
Right.
I think that's where it's like a sweet spot for me. But like I said, if Tara was doing this, if he wanted to put the Toyota out to pasture and look for something new, wanted to look at an SUV, I'd say it's definitely worth a look. I think
something not Japanese or Asian,
Exactly. It's to go out there and have a look at the market. I mean, it feels luxurious. It's going to be interesting to see, because my next vehicle I'm going to be having is the Lexus 450. And so with that being the case, it'll be interesting to compare the two and compare and contrast when they're very similar in a price point.
Cool.
But yeah, so I give it a thumbs up. It's a good car. I think it looks good. I like the LEDs when they come on.
And it is one you would recommend.
It does, yeah, I would recommend it. It does have a weird feature that I find unusual with the backup camera. When you're using the backup camera makes you feel like you're much, much closer to objects than you actually are.
Just like your side mirrors.
Well, yeah, so it should have the warning come on, because I'm constantly, like if I'm reversing into a car parking space, I think I'm right at the wall, and I turn around, I'm like, oh no, I've got 2.5 feet there behind me. So, you know, there's just things that I'm showing you just get used to it over time, and it's one of those things kind of thing. But like I say, it's a good car, but maybe at the $50,000 price point, it's a little bit pricey.
Yeah, okay.
Cool. Thank you, James.
No, thank you guys.
Great review again.
It looks good, but yeah, at that price point, that's something, if I were the evaluator, I haven't driven it, to be fair, but I don't know if that would be something I'd recommend. And it's a VW, you know, they got to get their act together, you know, with the reliability and all that. So anyways, okay, sounds good. Any other parting thoughts now that we've come to a nice end to our podcast?
No, my next podcast, you probably won't see this in the background because I'll be going out on location. So we'll see how that turns out.
Oh,
Are you going to tell us where, or is that a surprise?
Well, no, Tara already knows. I'm going, Lex has been kind enough to let me borrow the NX 450 hybrid so I can take that on a road trip around our southern states. We're going to be heading out through Nevada up to Utah, then back through Colorado, heading down to New Mexico, Arizona, and then back here to California.
Oh my God, COVID-19 tour. Good for you.
Well, the premise being is hopefully that
hitting all the hot spots.
The Lexus will hopefully protect us. That's the premise behind
You're
it.
hitting all the hot spots. Well, be careful. Wear a mask. Bunch of guys over there. They're there to infect you, man.
Look, all I'll say is they're going to be probably want to stay as far away from me as possible. Look, I'm an Englishman wearing a mask, driving a Toyota Lexus. So I mean, it's probably all the things they don't really want to be near. So
well, you can report to us on how the situation is out there from the ground.
I will. I'll be reporting. I think next time I'll be in Taos in my next report, so we'll get to know from there.
Oh, that'll be nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
For our next episode, actually, we have Mr. Roger Williams from the What's My Car Worth. Maybe some of you guys have seen it on the Velocity channel. It's one of those shows where you review old cars, not so old cars too, but user brings up a car and they drive it and they kind of review the car and they give it a price. And it's he's the executive producer of the show, so we'll have him on. It'll be an interesting show again.
Okay, sounds good, man. All right, James, have a great first leg of your trip, and we'll see you mid-trip, right?
Yes, that's the idea. That's the premise.
Have a safe trip.
Yeah.
Always.
Okay, well, and I'm just staying home because I just don't really feel like traveling these days. Taro, you're probably around, right?
I will be around. I'm staying in LA. The kids are starting school, so we gotta. Traveling is done. I mean, well, not like we.
Oh, they're not going to school, right? It's online, right?
Yeah. It's online. Everything's online now.
So that's why we picked the last week, so we could go when the kids are all back at school. So hopefully we miss that crowd.
That's a good time to go.
We will see everyone in 2 weeks. So
yeah, get these T-shirts.
You can get them at gtchannel.com. Mine was apparently lost in the mail.
It got lost.
That's because you just wear Burberry. We're not sponsored by Burberry.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Nicole pointed that out. I'm like, wow, good eye. So
yeah.
Anyways, we will see everyone in a couple weeks. So until then, goodbye. Stay safe. And Podspeed to all of you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.